kicking back on this summer breeze. Welcome to Double K's Classroom. Class is officially in session.
The following Four Aces production is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is highly advised.
All right. Hello, y'all, and welcome to this week's edition of Double K's Classroom. I am here to talk to you about the NBA Finals from 2019. Now, I'm going to say this from the get-go. You all know, straight up and real, I'm a Warriors fan, have been most of my life. And this finals wasn't exactly the easiest for me to watch, mainly because of the fact, not because of the fact of what people think is going to happen after the finals are over, but more so because of just kind of how everything played out. They came into the series missing, with Boogie coming back off of a injury, and with KD injured completely from the calf strain in the second round. Game 2, Klay gets hurt, ends up missing game 3. Man, I tell you, it's one of those things where everything just kind of went the Raptors' way. So let me start out by saying one quick thing, and that is congratulations to the Toronto Raptors and their fans on their first NBA championship. I'm not going to say all of the Toronto fan base, and I'll explain to you why when I get to my lesson of the day. But one of the major storylines that came out of the finals was the Toronto fans, and I'll get to that, like I said, during lesson of the day. Right now, let's take a look at the finals as they stood. You had Toronto, who had beaten Milwaukee 4-2 to get here, whereas the Warriors had beaten Portland 4-0 to get here. Game one, you kind of knew that this was something different. This was a different kind of series. This is going to be a different kind of series compared to what the Warriors normally do. Now, I'm going to tell you this as well. I honestly believe, and this is just an opinion, I'm not saying this is fact, I honestly believe the Warriors win this series 4-1 or sweep this series had they come in with a healthy Boogie and KD. Okay, I'm just going to say that from the get-go. I had a lot of these. They could have weathered the storm to the Klay injury. They could have weathered the storm to the Looney injury if Boogie comes in healthy, because Boogie tore his quad in the first round, and KD comes in healthy. KD hurt his calf, and we'll get to what happened with KD in Game 5 when he tried to come back later. We took, in the first two games in Toronto just came out And then, like I said, I was right about one thing and wrong about the same thing. Siakam did turn out to put forth a pretty good effort for the Raptors throughout this entire series, but he never quite matched what he did in game one. But averaging, I believe he was like averaging like 22 and like 9 or 10 rebounds for the series. But his game one performance was like 32 points and 10, 11 rebounds was not consistent. Same thing with Marc Gasol as they both went for 12 and then 6 points in game two and a loss 9-104 to the Warriors. Well, after game two, I'll tell you, I kind of had a little bit of hope. I was like, okay, yeah, maybe we can make a series of this despite not having KD. Because Kawhi, them boys, Serge, Marc Gasol, all former defensive player of the year. They had a lot of help with Siakam and his good defense, as well as Fred VanVleet coming off the bench. It looked like the Warriors could have a chance, but I didn't know. But game two gave me a little bit of hope. Game three kind of crushed me because Klay goes out game two. Steph's all by himself, puts up 47 points. The rest of the team around him kind of can't rally around in Oracle, and the Warriors lose 123-109. Now, game four, the Warriors the third quarter Warriors didn't show up like they normally do. If the third quarter Warriors show up, I believe they win that game, but they didn't, so the Raptors got that win and a sweep in Oracle. I believe the Raptors ended up like 6-2 against the Warriors all season. They won 4 in the playoffs and then did both the regular season matchup, so this is one of the best performances against the Golden State Warriors all season long from pillar to post that any team has ever had. I think that game three and game four solidified. Like I said, if they could have came out of game four tied and then did what they did in game five, which was KD came back and they got the victory, then the Warriors are up 3-2 going into game six. But that's not the way it went down. Now let's get to game five. Kevin Durant decides he's coming back, and I'm sorry, I'm not hearing any kind of nonsense from everybody. They rushed him back. They forced him back out onto the court because they were desperate. No. KD demanded to be back on the court. I can guarantee you that. He's a champion. He's a fighter. KD demanded to be back out on the court to give his squad a shot, not knowing or not caring. I believe that he knew that there was a risk he could tear his Achilles, or the doctors genuinely thought that the worst he could do is mess up his calf. Again. And he tore his Achilles, second quarter. Warriors were running. KD had been on the floor a little bit too long. Who knows? Maybe if they sat him, it doesn't happen. But maybe if they don't, it still happens. It just happens later in the game. Maybe if they do seat him, it still happens. It just happens later in the game. But at the end of the day, I believe he wanted to get out there. I don't believe this was trickery or pressure or anything else on KD. I don't think KD listens to that noise as much as y'all think he does. I think he hears it, but I don't think it affects his decision-making as much as everybody says. I think if KD thought that there was a bigger chance of him suffering catastrophic injury by going out there than not, and he wasn't really going to be able to help the team anyway, then I don't think KD makes that. But I think he felt he was at 100%. I think he felt like he could help the squad, and he chose to try to do so. And it cost him possibly next year of his NBA career. But I'll tell you why it may turn out the best thing for the Warriors with KD's impending free agency here and everything. The Raptors won that last night's game, Thursday night, 114-110. The Warriors put up the best effort that they could. Steph and Klay came to play. Klay tore his ACL, another injury, so even if they had one, Klay wasn't coming back for Game 7. Just wasn't the Warriors' year this year. But hats off, definitely, to the Warriors and to Kawhi Leonard for winning his second Finals MVP and for winning the Raptors their first NBA title. I believe that. Sorry, guys. Oh, just waking up. I believe that they deserve it, that they earned it. But let's be real. When we're bragging about the Raptors toppling the Warriors, let's fail to realize that the Warriors, that this was not the same Warrior squad. It's not a fully healthy Warrior squad. But there are no excuses. The Raptors earned this win. but that doesn't mean that things wouldn't have been different had the Warriors been healthy. See, that's, for all you Cleveland fans out there, that's how you do it correctly. The other team earned the win because they did. They got on the court. The Warriors earned the win against LeBron James. The injuries were just a part of the reason why they were able to dominate them. Even though I personally believe they beat them regardless whether or not Kyrie and K-Love were there. But that's just my personal opinion. But at the end of the day, the Raptors earned this victory. They beat the Warriors 4 to 6 games. And it doesn't matter what squad the Warriors put out there. They were wearing Warriors jerseys. They were representing the Warriors franchise. So the Raptors beat the Warriors. They didn't beat the healthy Warriors, but they beat the Warriors. And that's a specific distinction. But we don't put an asterisk by it because the Raptors did earn the title. They went out there and won 4 games and earned the title. The same way we do not put an asterisk next to 2015. The Warriors went out there and beat a team that was in front of them and won the title. I don't want to hear anything about asterisks or it being some kind of special bullshit because these players were hurt. No. Toronto Raptors get no asterisk, and that's coming from a Golden State Warriors fan. And I can tell you this, most of the people that I know that are a part of Warriors Nation feel exactly the same way. They get no asterisk. They beat the Warriors. Okay, they get no asterisk. But you do acknowledge the fact that this was not a 100% Warrior squad. Now let's get to what this means, what this might mean. Before we get to free agency as a whole, let's get to what this might mean for the Warriors. But Joe Lacob and Bob Myers both have stated already that they're planning on offering KD and Klay Thompson the max. Now we just got to hope that they sign. Because and I think the way that everything went down may be just enough of a reason for everybody to want to make their way back, including possibly Boogie Cousins, and we'll get to him a little bit later. But it's a possibility. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a lock, but it's a possibility. There was already hints in KD's camp that if the Warriors lost this finals, that he would re-sign. He would either opt into his 1-year player option for $31 million, or he would re-sign a long-term contract. So now the Warriors have lost. Let's see what those sources, if those sources were right. Because if they do, I like our chances of being able to get back and win another championship in the next couple of years. Period. But or win themselves another championship. Period. But other than that, Kawhi deserved the Finals MVP. He played his ass off. The Raptors deserved the title. They played their ass off. So no excuses, no nothing. Just I love what they're doing, and I love what's being done in Golden State. And I hope moving into the Chase Center, they'll continue to do exactly what they're doing. Hats off to Toronto. Enjoy your title. We may be back next year, if not 2 years from now, coming for you. All right. So that's it. I'm going to take my first promo break where we'll listen to a couple promos from Dub Podcast and Goes to the Stratosphere. Then I'll come back with my lesson of the day about the part of the Toronto fan base that I do not take my hat off to, and you'll find out, and you should know why at this point. All right. And then we'll have a couple more promos before we come back and discuss NBA free agency. You're listening to Double K's Classroom right here on the 4Aces Presents Radio Network, on Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, and Spotify.
From the galactic depths of the comic...
So, what's up? Steve Fingerstyles here, the host of the podcast, spelled D-A, of course. Tune in each and every week to hear what pisses me off, what angers me, what I make fun of, and of course, my crazy rants. I also have incompetent co-hosts, cool guests, and a silent producer that sucks. So what more do you need from a podcast? You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and the Pod Bros Network. Peace.
From the galactic depths of the comic book universe comes the ghosts of the stratosphere, ready to galvanize and energize your mind with the latest of comic book news and reviews. And why are you stopping me?
Yes, that's much better.
Hi, this is Andy Larson for Ghosts of the Stratosphere. Join me every week along with my co-hosts Rob Stewart and Chad Smith, as well as a cavalcade of fantastic comic book guests as we dish out heaping helpings of the greatest and latest of comic book news and reviews. New shows posted every Tuesday with bonus shows every first Friday of the month. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher under Ghosts of the Stratosphere, as well as on our website, www.gotstratosphere.com. Hope to see you soon, folks.
Tune in, folks. It's now time for Double K's Lesson of the Day.
All right, so I'm going to get straight to this. Straight to the point, short of. I won't say fuck all the Toronto fans, but there's a good portion of y'all that showed your faces during this NBA Finals run that make me say fuck y'all. And pardon my strong language on that, but it's just the dead truth. When KD went down in Game 5, there was a small portion of the 15, 20,000 fans that were, or 20-plus thousand fans that were in the arena that began to cheer when he went down holding his ankle. Some that were seen on camera waving bye to him as he was being carried out and laughing. To you fans, I say go fuck yourself. To you fans, I say you don't deserve the beautiful sport that is the game of basketball. You don't deserve to have a team as good as the Toronto Raptors. You don't deserve to be allowed to be a fan. If you cheer another team's or another player, whether they're on your team or another team, if you cheer them getting injured, you're just a piece of trash. It's just point blank and simple. And people can throw whatever argument out there they want to throw at me. You're a piece of trash. If you've ever found yourself, bye, you're a piece of trash. If you want to sit here and tell me that, when the injury happened, kind of caught your breath, held your breath, once you saw him get up and walk off, all right, he's going to be all right to an extent. All right, cool, then, all right, he ain't in there no more. Let's go get this. But to outright be laughing at another person's pain, be laughing at their injury when their career might be over, you're just trash. Trash. And all of you people out there saying, oh, y'all being sensitive and da-da-da-da. Fuck you too. Bottom line is, if you cheer another person's pain, you're a piece of trash. If you revel in another person's pain, you're a piece of trash. I don't care if it's your enemy. Like, I don't like any of my enemies. I want them to stay all away from me. I don't wish death on them. I don't wish them to die in some very horrible and painful way. No. Even my worst of worst enemies, I don't wish that on. At one point, I may have wished I could bring that death to them, but I never wish. But since I've grown up and become a grown man, I no longer wish that type of stuff on people, no matter how much I don't like you. All I might wish is that you just stay the hell away from me. So, with that being said, I come back to my original point that those fans that cheered KD's injury in general, garbage fans. And I don't salute you. I don't give you any pops. I don't give you any credit because you don't deserve it. The ones who were screaming profanities at Aisha Curry or at Sonia Curry and Dale Curry as they were leaving the arena, trash. Straight trash. Look, guys, I don't care if we are sports fans and we are allowed to do more. We are allowed to act a certain way that would be out of pocket in normal society because we're sports fans and we're in a sports environment. There's still certain lines you don't cross. You don't attack people's families ever. You don't start yelling and screaming shit at people's families. That's not acceptable. It's just not funny. We're not in high school. We're not in the 8th grade. The shit's not funny anymore. We're grown-ass adults. We should be able to carry ourselves with a little bit more composure. And those of you sitting there saying, oh, well they cheered when Kawhi Leonard went down. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Matter of fact, you immediately heard boos coming out of the crowd because they were booing the fact that everybody was trying to say that was a foul. Okay? And as one of my co-hosts on another show says, no, the Toronto fans were not cheering the turnover. Not the ones who were sitting there waving, and I'm talking about specifically the ones who were sitting there waving goodbye and laughing and pointing at KD. They were not cheering the turnover. They were cheering his injury, which makes them pieces of trash. Period. I don't care what anybody has to say. You're not going to change my mind. Don't attempt to change my mind. Don't attempt to tell me anything different. You're trash. And if the reason why you're defending them is because you've done it yourself, then guess what? You're trash too. In that moment, you were trash. You might not be trash today, but in that moment, you were trash. So, with that being said, I would like to once again, those fans who were not cheering during KD's injury, tell you guys, congratulations. You deserve it as a country, and you deserve it as Raptors fans. But the rest of you who were Raptors fans and non-Raptors fans, hey, there's a flight heading to Mars. Why don't y'all go get on it? That's it for the Double K's lesson of the day. We're going to listen to a couple more promos, and we'll come back and talk a little bit NBA free agency. You're listening to Double K's Classroom right here on the 4 Aces Presents Radio Network, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, and Spotify.
Tune in, folks. It's now time for Double K's Lesson of the Day.
Hey guys, this is Venice, and I've got a message from a friend of mine about my favorite podcast.
It's your boy, Flavor Flav in full effect. Check this out, everybody. I want y'all to go check out TJ.
What's good, everybody? TJ Johnson here for Voice from the Underground. I am the most handsome.
Big Has.
And I'm smoking my cigar, of course.
You know what I'm saying? The Dutch.
You pick me up in an Uber and a PT Cruiser, I'm calling Lyft.
Because they be fighting the power, talking about social issues, politics, you know what I'm saying?
And we're not even that good.
Right, we're terrible. Terrible. Tangents all over the place.
And not only that, but they be keeping it fun with the sports, music, comics, and movies too.
Am I allowed to talk?
I think, no, not right now.
Shut up, colonizer!
You know what I'm saying? He on Twitter at VFU Podcast. So you can find them. So check 1, 2. This is Flavor Flav. Yeah, boy.
Okay, what Flav was trying to say is, check out Voice from the Underground on your favorite podcast network.
Voice from the Underground.
Interruption in progress. Now hijacking into ANS 2.0 immersion rig. Now simulating the Amazing Nerd Show. Featuring comics.
And Batman's like, you're safe here and everything, but the Joker all of a sudden pulls out a gun and shoots himself.
Movies.
People fight with lightsabers. What the hell do you want? I mean, in every one of these movies, there's a lightsaber battle.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna rewatch it a million times.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, give me something more.
Wrestling.
That would be awesome. Oh my god, just a monster. Fans would be like, holy, what the hell's going on? What happened to Jericho?
Horror.
It starts off like any other like home invasion type of story, and then it just goes crazy.
And more.
Hey, this is Christian.
Hey, this is Damon.
And we are the Amazing Nerd Show.
Make sure to download us on all your favorite podcast platforms.
All right, so that there was Flavor Flav and Venice telling you about Voices from the Underground and an Amazing Nerd Show, or Christian and I forgot the other name, but the Amazing Nerd Show. 2 amazing podcasts out there on iTunes, etc. Look for them on Twitter and find the links to be able to listen to their most recent episodes. All right, so that's the podcast shout-outs for right now. So let's talk a little bit of NBA free agency. So as of recently, ESPN reports that Goran Dragic has told the Miami Heat he will exercise his $19.2 million $19.6 million option for next year, player option for next year, so he will be in Miami Heat. He was limited to just 36 games and 13 points and 4 assists per game. That was reported 7:45 last night. Let's see. The Memphis Grizzlies Center Jonas Valanciunas, the one that they traded for from Toronto when they sent Marc Gasol over there, is declining the $17.6 million player option on his 2019-2020 contract, clearing the way to become an unrestricted free agent. His primary intention is to return on a long-term deal with the Grizzlies. So Kyrie Irving is changing representation from his longtime agent, signing with Roc Nation with Jay-Z. Some believe that this is a sign that he will sign with the Nets. That's where people thought KD was going as well. KD ruptured his Achilles. There's a chance he may re-up with the Warriors, but there's a chance that he may decide to take himself into free agency and go get himself a 4-year max deal from somebody else. The Lakers and Celtics are currently engaged in trade talks with the Pelicans for the Pelicans to land Anthony Davis. The number 4 pick has been discussed as a trade chip to help the Pelicans acquire a high-level player in a multi-team deal. So basically what they're doing is at this point they're in talks, but the Pelicans don't want the number 4 pick, so they want the Lakers to use the number 4 pick to bring in a third team, and they'll trade the number 4 pick to the third team and allow that team to send, and that team would send a player to the Pelicans, and Lakers will receive Anthony Davis. No, that's not all that would be involved. I believe Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball would be sent to New Orleans. New Orleans would be sending Anthony Davis back to the Lakers. The Lakers would be sending the 4th pick to Team X, and Team X would be sending a player to a player that the Pelicans like to the Pelicans, along with Lonzo Ball and there's talks that Kyle Kuzma may be a big piece in that Kyle Kuzma may be necessary in order to make it happen, but we'll see. Lakers Kemba Walker has said that he'd be willing to take less money to stay with the Hornets and have them build around him. So we'll see what happens with that. He might take less than the $221 million Supermax. But the Lakers, Mavericks, and Knicks are all in the hunt for Kemba Walker. Let's see. Oh, congratulations to Igor Kokozov for getting himself a job on Luke Walton's staff as an assistant coach over there in Sacramento. So that team looks like it's going to be pretty good. I know the Suns were only 19 and 63 this year, but I believe they were actually better than what their record showed. And Kokosov should have received another year or two to do what he wanted to do with the team. The Brooklyn Nets moved Alan Crabb to the Atlanta Hawks. Their 2019 first-round pick, 17th overall, and a protected first-round pick for 2020 to the Atlanta Hawks in exchange for forward Taurean Prince and a 2021 second-round pick. So basically, the trade allows Brooklyn to clear up 2 max salary spots in free agency and possibly pursue Boston Celtics guard Kyrie Irving in July. And then the last one is, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, on May 29th, the Houston Rockets have let it be known that their entire roster and future draft picks are on the table. Players such as Chris Paul, Clint Capella are realistic trade targets, despite both signing new contracts with Houston. Let's see. Names like Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez will be out there on the market. Malcolm Brogdon will be, but he'll be restricted. Milwaukee's hope is to retain everybody. Let's see. All right, so that'll do it for free agency update as of now. We'll come back to this in a couple of weeks and see what when we're doing our training camp reviews, and we'll see about figuring or looking at what moves are being made, because the no moves can truly be made until July 1st, Monday, July 1st, so that we still got about another 2.5 weeks for that. So other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this show. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Quick half-hour buzz on the NBA right there. This is Double K. I'll be back next week with K-Double's 5th period music class. Tonight, as this episode airs, you should also be able to go to the Double K's Classroom fan page and find the and find the poll for your 4 artists of the week for next week, potential artists of the week for next week. Shania Twain, Faith Hill, Tim McGraw, and Garth Brooks are the 4 artists you have to choose from, as this is Country Month on KD5P. So y'all enjoy it. Pick who y'all want to listen to, and I'll put together the best playlist possible. Other than that, y'all have a great night. 2 weeks, we'll be back with Double K's Classroom. I believe we're starting training camp talk at that point. And y'all have a great night. Peace. Oh, sorry. Let me go on ahead and also let you know that 4Aces Presents is more than just the Double K Double Network with Double K's Classroom and KD5P. We also have The Saint on Sundays with MVT Deuce. We have Lip Gloss and Mike's and Brick House on Sundays with Kelly Kell and Brick. And then we also have we have Miss Marvelous Radio, Kings and Queens of Porn on Tuesday nights, and then and Mr. Deacon's Experience on Saturday nights. So keep tuning in. We got more things coming. We're growing. We got another show in the works coming up here soon. All right. Y'all have a great night. Peace.